Atlanta Motor Speedway hosts qualifying for the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series for Sunday's Folds of Honor Quiktrip 500. Early on, about a dozen cars made it rather quickly and briskly through inspection. But as we have seen in past years, being the first regular season race, well, some teams are having a little trouble with the room of doom. It's a beautiful day here in Atlanta. You can see bright sun shining. It is windy, from 19 down to 13 miles an hour. Still winds out of the northwest, and temperature about 55 degrees under full sunshine. So welcome back to Atlanta once again. Mike Joy, Darrell Waltrip, Jeff Gordon with you as we get ready to qualify. The pace on track, 185 miles an hour, 198 into turn one. The pace going through inspection, not so fast.
Snail pace. Yeah, but you know what? We kind of saw this coming, or it's not like a great big surprise, because NASCAR has changed their procedure as to how you go through tech. Now the tech's the same, but if you fail a station, then you have to get out of line, go back to the garage, fix whatever your problem is, and get back in line and go back through tech. So that's going to take a while.
Yes, and that is a new procedure this year. Now, before practice, there was a very limited inspection dealing mostly with safety items, but this is the full-on inspection to put these cars out on the track to qualify. It's going to take a little while for some of these teams, but once we get going, we're going to see some speed, and we're going to see some slip sliding around.
Oh, yeah. We already saw the drivers had their hands full in practice. You mentioned 190 miles, 98 miles per hour going into the corner. But, boy, when they got to the corner, it was hold on tight. So, you know, this is one of the most treacherous, fastest racetracks and one of the roughest tracks we have on the circuit, also very abrasive. So I think you're going to see these drivers holding on tight, holding their breath to go make that qualifying lap.
Just as some of those crews are doing right now, trying to get their cars through inspection. Here's Matt Yoakum.
Mike Joy, to put it in perspective, 25 minutes before we came on air, only 6 cars had passed NASCAR's inspection process. And Elton Sawyer's the vice president of officiating and technical inspection. And Elton, now the process has changed, but the tolerances have not.
Right now.
Well, that's correct, Matt. And the things that we wanted to make sure of is that we got everybody through one time. We did that with 45 minutes to go. The industry has asked for this. They've asked us to stay the course, and that's what we're going to do.
Looking at the cars that have gone through, is it consistent, the issues that you're seeing, and is there anyone in danger of not making it for qualifying?
Well, the consistency is it's mostly templates. And I'm not sure as far as how many is going to not get out there. Again, we're doing our very best. They've asked us to stay the course, and that's what we're going to do.
One last question for you. So if a car should not make it, as far as the tire situation, look at the cars that will qualify anywhere from possibly 3 to 5 laps on their set of tires, and that being such an important aspect here, will they get a chance to start on stickers, or how will that be handled?
Well, we'll go exactly by the rule book. We won't change anything as far as that, so we'll stay consistent with the rule book.
All right, thank you, Elton.
Yep, thank you.
The new part of the procedure is that if a team fails one part of the inspection, last year they just had to go back through that one part. Now they have to go through the entire process, and as Elton Sawyer said, all teams have had at least one chance to go through. Cars that have cleared inspection are being pushed from behind the pit wall from Truck Series practice now into their slots, getting ready for round 1 of knockout qualifying. Round 1 will set spots 25 to 39. That's how many cars we have entered this weekend. And the fastest 24 advance to round 2. Spots 13 through 24 will be locked in. The fastest 12 advance to the final round, where the fastest driver wins the pole, and the entire grid is set. Chris Neville.
Well, both Roush Fenway cars have made it out onto pit lane, and we're starting to have a few more cars show up out here. But Trevor, if not all these cars make it to qualifying, does that change your strategy in the first round?
Yeah, the first race of the day is getting out the pit road for qualifying here. And like you said, both of our cars have made it, so that's good. But you're asking a good question, because Matt Pusha and I were just talking about that on the way here. If only 23, 24 cars make it out on pit road, and Atlanta chews up tires, you almost need to go down here and tell everybody, hey, we're all in. Let's try to save some tires here for round 2, round 3, because, you know, let's say 20 cars make it out. The guy in 21st with fresh tires, he can make up some ground at Atlanta. So you want to make sure you play that right. I think even if everybody makes it, you still have to understand that game. Now that we start our race on the tires that you qualify, that's different for this year. You have to play that strategy. You get to that final round, you know you're only a 12th place car. Do you even try to push for that 10th place starting spot knowing you're going to get another lap or 2 laps on your tires? Obviously, we're all here to try to get the pole, and that's what we want to do, but you've got to play smart. Sunday is what's in mind, and hopefully this Liberty National Life Insurance Ford's fast. Got a new paint scheme this weekend. First car that I've driven in 3 years that isn't an Advocare primary. Obviously, Advocare's still on the car, but really happy to have Liberty National Life Insurance on board this weekend.
Good job. Thanks. Matt?
Chris, one of the first 4 cars to make it through inspection and hold position behind the wall here waiting to stage on the grid was Jimmy Johnson's 48 Chevrolet. So how do you manage your tires through the different rounds here in qualifying, Jimmy?
I guess it just depends on how good you feel advancing the second round and the final round. You know, you might have to make a tough decision and sit and save a lap on your tires if you know you think your goal is 12th and that's all you can get. Might not be worth that extra lap. We'll have to see. I have to assume the carrot in front of all of us racers will pull us along, and we'll all believe we're an adjustment away and put us back out there and we can figure it out. So track position is super important. So is pit stall pick. But the crew chiefs right now are really having to weigh some strategy potentially because this track's so abrasive and the limited tires we have.
Certainly knows how to maneuver on this challenging racetrack. Went to victory lane here a year ago. Mike?
Thanks, Matt. 18 cars have cleared inspection, and to clarify what Elton Sawyer said, we'll go by the rule book. Cars that do not pass inspection and do not get to make a qualifying run will start the race on the tires that are on the car as presented for inspection, which would be sticker tires.
Yeah, you know, Mike and Jeff, I don't know how you feel about this, but I do today. Look, we're qualifying today. I guess you could say, well, big picture is what about Sunday? But I'm going to do today. I'm going to get the best qualifying. I'm going to get the best starting position I can. I'm going to do tomorrow, and then I'm going to worry about Sunday when Sunday gets here, because it's like worrying about if it's going to rain or not, you know, those kind of things.
Yeah, things that are outside your control,
yeah,
right? You can't worry about those things. I agree. But I tell you, this could be a really interesting strategy day. I mean, because those that, if they don't go out, which it looks like there's some that won't, hey, being on sticker tires for the start of this race is not a bad thing.
What's that song? Na 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 na. The games people play now, every night and every day now.
We will find out shortly as we get ready to qualify in Atlanta. Daytona 500 winner Kurt Busch getting ready for his round 1 qualifying run, which begins in 1 minute with 21 cars out on the line. Matt?
Mike, Daniel Suarez had a tutor to help get him around the Atlanta Motor Speedway. So what was the best advice Carl Edwards gave you for qualifying here at AMS?
Well, Carl Edwards is very good here. He has a few wins on this place, and obviously it's one of those places that he just feels attached. So, you know, it's very, very good to have him here, and definitely he's been very helpful through practice, first practice, going to data and all that kind of stuff. That most of this is new for me, 100% new for me. So he's been very helpful, and I have some good information in my head right now going to the first qualify run.
Thanks, Daniel.
Thank you, guys.
Ryan Blaney pushing his car out. Brad Keselowski's car with the hood up, and the track is open. Round 1, 20 minutes has begun.
I do exactly what Dale Jr. is doing. I go out, lay me down a lap, come back and park it, baby.
I think this is that one time it would be a bad idea to kind of wait and see what's going to happen, just because I just wonder if we don't get more than 24 cars in this first round here. I mean, you could save your tires and really benefit you round 2 to 3.
Watched Jimmy Johnson do that, and it did not work out too well. He was too conservative, I think it was last year.
Well, I can tell you, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is not conservative. He's on the gas.
Yeah, up high, coming down to get the green. He's going.
And this is what you're going to see, folks. You're going to see people run the high line to get as much momentum off that turn 4, carry as much speed into that sun into turn 1.
Boy, how early he backed out the throttle.
Saw a lot of cars running this high line, straddling that seam right there. Watch the back end step out a little bit off of turn 2. Now watch, he won't run the high line here. He'll go right down to the yellow line, hook that yellow line if possible.
Take off the bottom a little bit.
Not bad, not bad.
Earnhardt lays down the gauntlet, 29.621. 187 miles per hour.
Yeah, that's pretty close to what we saw in practice from some of the faster cars.
I think that's a lot better than what he did.
Now,
Junior was a 30.09 in practice.
Inspection continues. During this 20 minutes, cars can come out once they've cleared inspection and make a lap. Remember, this is knockout qualifying. You can go out on the track anytime within these 20 minutes and run as few or as many laps as you wish.
You know, this is one of those tracks I love. The challenges of this track. It's very wide. There's multiple grooves. There's, you know, hooking the line, the yellow line on the bottom. There's running right up next to the wall, straddling seams. There's a lot of tools as a driver that you have here, and that's uncommon. You know, rare that you can go and change your line completely to change the outcome or the handling of your car. Not to mention inside the car, they've got their track bar adjuster, and this is that type of track. It's big. You know, corners 3 and 4 are completely different, 1 and 2. You can adjust that track bar. That can really make a difference and help the balance from one end to the other as well.
Now note the countdown clock in the upper right of the screen. That's telling us how much time is left in round 1. You must start your lap before time expires for it to be counted.
Yeah, you know, and Mike, the other thing, and Jeff, that makes our sport interesting, I think, you think about last week. We had 2 rounds of qualifying, single car qualifying. And so you make it to the top 12 and you run for the pole. Today we have 3 rounds of qualifying. Today tires are a factor. Last week tires were not a factor. Every week we go somewhere, it's a different scenario. It's a different, like, problems that you have to deal with. I think that makes our sport interesting.
Oh, I love that part of our sport, DW, and it's one of the things that I took a lot of pride in as a part of a race team. When you went and won the championship, you had to be good at the road courses, the short tracks, high bank, flat tracks, super speedways with restrictor plate racing, as well as a track like here in Atlanta, unrestricted, sliding the car sideways 190 miles per hour.
Well, look at our first 5 races. I mean, they're all basically different racetracks. This and Vegas may be the closest together, but then you go to the 1 mile Phoenix, the 2 mile Fontana, then we go to Martinsville, half mile.
Now at the end of pit road, there are 7 cars lined up, counting Jimmy Johnson. Now Paul Menard rolls. I think the rest of these cars are waiting to see how many cars clear inspection. Currently 23 are on the line, or in the case of Dale Earnhardt Jr., have made their lap.
I remember we started this kind of qualifying procedure. We were all saying, well, when they all get out there, we're going to be people in their way, people are going to be blocking, blah, blah, blah. I don't think we're going to have that problem today.
Well, and I can tell you, you know, there's been a lot of discussion. Not only are we dealing with new procedures through inspection, but we're also dealing with new aerodynamic package, smaller rear spoiler, smaller front splitter, suspension changes, components that have changed from last year. And it seems like every time we come here to Atlanta, as we see Paul Menard go to the top side through 1 and 2 to start his lap, I just think that, you know, NASCAR said over the offseason, teams, we are going to be very strict when we get to Atlanta. And boy, they are not backing down.
I think those teams have to be careful what they ask for, because you heard Elton Sawyer say, look, this is what the team said they wanted, and we're going to stay the course. So look, every week for the first few weeks this year, it's going to be a little bit of a learning experience. I see, look at there, Paul Menard right to the top, 29.545.
You know, I think even if all 40 cars are, I think we have 39 cars here at Atlanta Motor Speedway this weekend, if they were all out on pit road, their strategy as to how you're going to run this first round, because in the first round, if you use up everything you have and put the absolute best lap down, then you're going to give up some speed in those tires for round 2, possibly if you make it to round 3. So I think that what we may have saw out of Dale Earnhardt Jr. was going out, putting a pretty decent lap down, see what he has. But I don't know if he ran as hard as he possibly could, because he knows he's going to make it to round 2.
Well, but the reason I said if I do, I like what he did. I want to get back to the pits, get my engine cool, let everything cool down. So the next round, I think he'll be in a better shape than some of these guys that sit around and wait.
I'll tell you when business will pick up. When the 25th car rolls out to pit road. Because 24 advanced to round 2. And some of these teams may think that they can advance without turning a lap or maybe just rolling around the apron. That would be. Now, in 2015, qualifying was delayed 15 minutes for cars getting through a new inspection system. There were more cars on pit road when we started in 2015 than there were today, and yet 13 drivers did not get a lap in 2 years ago.
I have a feeling that number might be bigger today, Mike.
Yeah,
and one of those drivers, well, tell us what happened that day, Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember the details of why we didn't clear through inspection, but I just remember that we had issues, and we, you know, I've never experienced anything like this before. I kept going to my team going, hey, what's going on? What's going on? They say, oh, you know, everybody's having trouble getting through this area, and, you know, just be ready, be ready. And I hopped in the car, as you can see right there. Thought maybe I could beat the clock to get one lap, but I didn't. I didn't get the opportunity. And what was so frustrating wasn't just us. Like you said, it was 12 others that didn't get a chance. And when there's that many cars not making it through inspection, makes you wonder what is it, you know, because you just can't. Are the teams being that aggressive, or is NASCAR being that strict?
I don't know. It kind of always was interesting to me that the 12 were probably the 12 best cars. The 12 best teams, maybe. I don't know. So, yeah, it's always confusing.
A.J. Allmendinger on track, and Jimmy Johnson coming to the line to start his lap.
One thing I can promise you, we're going to have a heck of a battle for the pole. I mean, even the cars that are out there on pit road, once it gets to round 3, they're going to be going for it hard. And look at this, A.J. Allmendinger looking pretty good in the green.
Yes, sir.
And he's quickest, 29.43.
That
was a nice lap by.
Whoa, Jimmy! Hang on.
You could see his hands really working inside the car there, and then that back end really stepped out off a 4.
I don't know. Those Hendrick cars got so much power, he was spinning the wheels up off the corner. Watch
this.
Hey, watch this.
Now that is a product of just less downforce, less side force. You're going to see a lot of that this weekend. You're going to see a lot of that in 2017 with that tiny spoiler and the lack of grip these cars are going to have.
Well, as we said, we have more than 24 cars on the line now. Business picks right up.
Yeah. A little bit of that too, Jeff, is transition off of that corner. You can get a little loose right there. What a hard do.
He puts his Ford to the top, 29.27.
I felt like these cars would be pretty fast today with that little spoiler. Remember last year, I think we only ran like a 28.97 here was the pole last year. So that's getting on down there close to that pole speed.
Ty Dillon was
from a year ago.
Really fast in practice, but I don't know if he had a big moment there in qualifying through 1 and 2. Didn't really see it in 3 and 4. Here's Newman, who was top of the board in practice earlier today and in the green.
Cars look so good when they're on stickers.
Didn't even use up all the racetrack coming out of turn 4. And the Rocket is fastest, 29.20 for Ryan Newman. 189.8.
Well, DW said we might get down to that 28.9.
I think we're gonna get right close to it anyway. And isn't it funny how the more things change, the more they stay the same?
Yeah.
They change these cars, they change tires, they change everything, procedures. At the end of the day, you're right back where you were a year ago.
Well, with this lower spoiler, certainly less downforce, but also less drag. These cars are flying down that backstretch with the aid of the wind into turn 3.
Yeah, when the tires are fresh and new, this track has a tremendous amount of grip. Even with less downforce, the tires will make up for it. So you'll see them carry a lot of speed off of turn 4 down into turn 1. That's where we're seeing those big speeds, almost 200 miles per hour.
Just think about when that spoiler, that big old spoiler's on the back, it's like a parachute. You've taken the parachute and cut it in about 1/3 of what it was, maybe even more.
Matt Kenseth on the clock. Martin Truex 4th quickest. Last year, Kyle Busch had what looked like a pole-winning pass of 28.92, but that time was disallowed. Kurt Busch ended up with the pole.
Hamlin's in the green.
Yeah.
But he's
turn 3. He hooks this yellow line just right. He just clipped it. So it cost him a little bit of time.
Oh, he got a little time off of 4 right there.
Now you'll watch if a car goes down into turn 3 and gets to the yellow line and stays there, they don't have to be all over it, but just stay right on it. That tells you it's a good corner.
Stenhouse in the green up. Yeah, turn 4. Turn 4 is tough.
Boy, it is. Now 1 and 2 is shaded. Big sparks flying out of the back as he bottomed out going into turn 3, but turns 1 and 2 are shaded, so there's a lot of grip down there, a lot of speed. The boy, turns 3 and 4 where the sun is at and the higher track temperature, that's where these drivers are really going to be challenged.
And Jeff, don't forget, there is a huge tailwind down the back, so it's pushing you hard into turn 3.
Which is not only carrying more speed in there, it's going to make it harder for you to get slowed down, to get down to that yellow line.
Yeah.
Whoa, big moment right here. Almirola into turn 1. Now that's something we haven't seen a lot of in the last couple of years. Cars getting sideways, getting into the corner.
You know, nice run for Matt DiBenedetto, who currently is 6th fastest in the number 32.
The Benedetto has lit that 32 car up.
Yeah.
Man. Had a great run last week.
David Reagan may have got into the wall in turn 2. Yep.
He felt like he touched it.
Let's take a look at this and see what it looks like.
Oh, left side's on that seam there.
Right
Not
on
a lot of grip there.
Right on it, I mean.
Oh, yeah, he just, you know, he's committed to the gas, and the back just stepped out a little bit, and it was going to be really close. He just didn't quite clear it.
I don't think it hurt the car much, so that didn't.
I don't know about that.
Sorry, Sam. Sam, not so good.
Sam is not smiling.
No, Sam is not happy. Bad Sam.
Another driver that was fast in practice, Kyle Larson. Lost a little bit of speed there getting into 3. You know, it seems to me like the drivers really have to make some decisions as they carry all that speed into turn 3. They might need to give up the entry of that corner to try to get the exit.
I think you're getting off 2 really well. You're getting 1 and 2 really well. You got a huge run down the back. You're just overdriving turn 3 right now.
Hurt looking pretty strong.
Need to look down at that digital dash and see how many RPM you picked up.
I don't want to see it.
Chase Elliott in the green.
Yeah, really got through 1 and 2 on the high
wow,
line.
that's a big number right there, guys. He might be able to. He's got a little bit in the bank.
Now, can he stay on that yellow line? He didn't quite get there, but he's still carrying pretty good speed. He's probably not going to be on the pole right now.
No, man, he had a ton in the bank and lost it all.
That's how important that turn 3 and 4 is.
Wow.
Now, when the cars on track finish their run, 25 cars will have made a run, and keep an eye on the clock in the upper right of the screen. You must start your lap before that clock goes to 0, or it will not count.
A pretty good job of Suarez there, guys. He's 10th quick right there. That looks like Carl helped him a lot, because that's a great time he put up for where he was.
Remember, Dale Earnhardt Jr. went out first car on the track, fairly conservative lap, 29.62. He's back in 18th right now.
All right, the next car to take time will set the bubble for advancing to round 2.
Yeah, and the last thing you want to do, Mike, is have to go back out. I mean, that's a couple more laps on those tires, and that is critical.
Landon Castle clocks in, and Chris Buescher is on the bubble, 24th. Ray Gaulding on your left, Eric Jones on the right, and Gaulding will not advance. He is 25th.
See Eric Jones, his hands working that wheel, sliding sideways off of turn 4 like some others.
And he bumps Chris Buescher, Eric Almirola to the bubble. Kyle Busch.
I'm amazed. I've not seen one single car run the bottom through 1 and 2. Every single car up high using that momentum lane.
You know why?
Whoa, Casey Kane, big moment right there. Now that's the other side of that yellow line. If your car's turning really strong and you get to the yellow line and hook it, it can actually pull the back end around.
I think we might have another pole sitter here, guys.
Almirola is bumped by Casey Kane, and Kane is bumped by Kyle Busch, who is fastest.
29-13. We're getting close to those 28s.
Maybe going after a little sweet revenge after last year's.
Landon Castle on the bubble now.
No, the reason I said, you know why? Remember what Dale Jr. said in practice? High in 1 and 2, low in 3 and 4.
Yeah.
And I think everybody's kind of taking that to heed.
Yeah, and I agree, and I think that's the best way to go about it. Sometimes, though, in round 1 with fresh tires, we'd see them use the bottom lane. But I think with this package, I think they know. There's no way I'm going to be able to get it down there and stick it and get back to the throttle and make a good lap.
Now, all these drivers will make the race. There are 39 drivers entered. The cutoff at 24th, where Landon Castle just got bumped by Ty Dillon, is to advance to round 2.
Jeff, I also wonder a little bit if you're staying out wide going into 1 and hiding from that wind a little bit, because those billboards pick up as you enter turn 1. I know there's a little more grip up high, but the wind might be a tad of a factor as well.
A second lap for Ty Dillon, and he's back in. He is 24th. So our tracker on the lower left with Corey LaJoie on track is compared not to the pole. We're going to change it to the bubble. It'll compare to the bubble time. 24th currently Ty Dillon.
We've certainly gotten a lot more cars on track than what we anticipated, and it's starting to make things very interesting. I mean, Casey Kane, Eric Almirola, you know, these drivers need to get back out a second time if they're going to advance, which we never thought we saw that coming.
Second lap for Chris Buescher. And he needs to get to the green to advance and bump Ty Dillon. 3 minutes to go. Jamie McMurray making his first lap. Buescher climbs to 26th, not enough.
Yeah, McMurray was really quick in practice. He and Kyle Larson up in the top 5 or 6 positions.
Look at him.
Wow, look at him hook that. Wow, look how fast is now. Again, this is to 24th. This is just going to be put him above 24th.
So McMurray bumps Ty Dillon and goes to 3rd. Austin Dillon now on the bubble.
Now this is where we see Almirola kind of, I think he basically aborted that lap. He got so loose down there in the top group of 1 and 2.
See what Boyer's got here. Put a lap down.
Two minutes left to start a lap in this session.
Now remember that is in the red to 24th, so this is definitely not going the way Clint Boyer wanted this lap to go.
And it's not coming down.
No, it isn't.
Well, we haven't seen really anybody pick up a bunch of speed through 3 and 4, although he's doing it. Look at this. Wow.
Just lost so much in 1 and 2.
He got it. Got there.
He did. 24th, right on the bubble. That knocks out Austin Dillon.
A minute and a half left to go.
They must have called him on the radio and told him, man, you got to pick up in 3 and 4.
If he doesn't advance, boy, he's going to be really kicking himself for that 1 and 2. I think he was just super conservative.
Now here's David Reagan, who eased into the wall on his first attempt, did not complete that lap.
Too much damage on the car. I mean, he couldn't even hardly drive it.
That's one of those, DW, you're sitting in the car and you go, well, how bad's the damage? Not bad. You should be good.
You just touched it.
All right, we're under 1 minute on the countdown clock. That determines whether or not your lap will count. So within the next 15 seconds, if you're going to make a lap, you need to be rolling off pit road.
And Austin Dillon currently in 25th, 29.74. All he has to do right now is pick up 200ths of a second, and he's in.
Second time out on tires. Sometimes it's just not enough grip. Looks good right now.
Boy, that looks really good right now.
I bet he adjusted how he ran 1 and 2 a little bit.
Yeah, and a lot of times you go out there and you didn't realize how much grip there really was, and you left a lot on the table. Or maybe you just had a big moment because you were overdriving it. But this is a great looking lap he's putting together here.
This is a lap you'd like to run in the next go round.
Yes.
But you've got to get to the next go round. And Austin Dillon will. 16th, that bumps Clint Boyer, and Eric Jones holds on to the bubble as the top 24 will advance. Kyle Busch, Ryan Newman, fastest in round 1. Round 1 of Cup Series qualifying is complete. 5 drivers did not make it out onto the track. The top 24 will advance to round number 2 in 3-round knockout qualifying. David Reagan had some, he lost a battle with turn 2 on his qualifying pass. Matt?
Can't fault him for the extra effort, though, especially being your home track.
Yeah, that was something that was avoidable for sure. Our good Sam, Camping World Ford, had decent speed right off the truck, and the track got a lot tighter as we ran, and we made some pretty big swings for qualifying, and car came to speed really good coming up to the line, and drove off into turn 1 and just didn't have the side bite on exit. I was throttled up and kind of ran out of racetrack. So even though it seems like a minor incident, there's really nothing minor about touching the wall at 190 miles an hour. So our Front Row Motorsports team, I've kind of put them behind the 8 ball a little bit, but we've got all day tomorrow to work on it, and we'll get it ready for Sunday.
Thanks, David.
Thank you.
Reagan will start 34th. The 5 drivers behind him that did not take time will be lined up by car owner point standings. And those drivers that did not make it out are Jeffrey Earnhardt, Cody Ware, Derek Cope, Cole Witt, and Michael McDowell. Failed to complete inspection and get out to the qualifying line in time to make a run.
Yeah, I'm curious to talk to David Reagan after he goes back and watches, his lap, because he was one of the few, if maybe the only car, that ran a lower line. And then a lot of cars ran high up in 1 and 2. He ran a little bit lower in that second groove, and as he said, he just got a little loose and ran out of room off of turn 2.
So Clint Boyer just missed advancing to round 2. He and Ty Dillon will share the 13th row on Sunday. Landon Castle and Chris Buescher. Casey Kane, who was the quickest Hendrick car in practice, will line up next to Eric Almirola. And by owner points, the 5 drivers who did not go out on track will line up. Chris?
Yeah, and Casey Kane's had 2 poles here over the years. Casey, 29th today. What did you need there?
We had a pretty good 1 and 2. I felt good about that, and then I got into 3 and it just jumped sideways. I drove in pretty far, similar to practice, expecting it to be fine, and I got loose and took a bit, getting out here, so we didn't get a chance to go twice and kind of make up for my mistake. I just expected the track to be similar, and I think it was freer in 3 and 4 with the the sundown in 1 and 2. Compared to today, it was more of a similar each corner.
Thanks, Casey.
Well, Clint Boyer shouldn't feel too bad because he missed it by 1/1000th of a second of being on this list of 24 drivers who will move on to round 2 of knockout qualifying. Eric Jones, the last one to advance, so by 1/1000th of a second, Boyer's day is done. He will line up 25th on Sunday. No truck race tonight, but tomorrow at Atlanta, plan your viewing day around the Xfinity Series race, 1:30 Eastern Time here on FS1. Sunday, Folds of Honor 500 on Fox, 2 p.m. Eastern. The truck race will also be tomorrow afternoon on FS1, a Saturday doubleheader for 2 of NASCAR's 3 national divisions. In case you wondered, that 1/1000th of a second by which Clint Boyer missed advancing, that's 3 inches on the racetrack.
Wow.
1/1000th of a second.
So I got lose a race here by that much. Not long, too many years ago.
No, it's something, a little something about that.
You know a little something about it, right?
Now, here's
Track
what
is open.
I'm really anxious to see. Can they pick up? Were there some cars and drivers that were holding back a little bit, or sun setting down, track temperature maybe going down? Are we going to see faster speeds than we saw in round 1?
I think a good indication to me was Austin Dillon going back out. Put another lap on his tires, and he picked up quite a bit. So this might not be a bad round right here.
Yeah, no, this is going to be great.
Telemetry in on Denny Hamlin.
Now here's what you'll see. High up in 3 and 4, Get that engine wound up, get as straight of a shot off of turn 4 as you possibly can. Carry as much speed down the front straightaway. Already 190 miles per hour just at the start-finish line.
Look at that, almost
200. Wow. Now it's interesting. He's going to run that middle lane as we saw David Reagan run.
I like that lane. No, he didn't.
Whoa.
He almost did it.
That was close.
Now, with the wind, what's his 200 miles an hour into turn 3?
Amazing.
He's going somewhere, boys.
You can see him playing with the throttle a little bit through the center, but he's wide open off of 4.
Let's see what he can lay down here. I think this will be pretty good.
29.39. And that is 1,400 slower than round 1. And here's Danica. 30.34. Ryan Newman.
Oh, yeah, this is a good looking lap right here.
Wow.
Wow.
29.21. That is within 100th of what he ran in round 1.
That's what I was going to say, Mike. Almost backed up exactly round 1. I think that's what you want to do here in round 2. If you can back up what you did in round 1, I think that's a good sign. You've got a great race car.
Newman's been fast all day. He practiced well. He's been good in both sessions so far. The car's been really good for him today.
Sure has. Riding along here with Kevin Harvick. You can see there's a lot of movement in the suspension, a lot of movement in the steering wheel, car dancing around. Here it hitting the racetrack right there. He hooks that yellow line. Got through 3 and 4 pretty good.
Trying.
Second for Harvick.
You can see that sun in his eyes. Heard him say, really loose coming to the green. Well, now they'll look at that. They'll know what the car's going to do the second time out on tires. He'll make some adjustments, maybe air pressure, maybe an adjustment of wedge, maybe a track bar adjustment from inside the car.
But that's never a good feeling when you're coming to get the green and you're already a little bit loose, because then you got to make up your mind, is this thing going to be under me or not?
So DW, I was here and I was down the garage area after practice. I heard a lot of them saying they're loose coming to the green and the car tightens up as they go. So, you know, being loose, I know typically you'd say, oh no, it's going to be even looser down in 1 and 2, but we are hearing that a lot of drivers say it is tightening up.
Way out of the throttle.
Kurt Busch.
Yeah, wow. Really playing with it. Not able to get wide open till really late off the corner, and it's showing up in the lap time.
Yeah, it is.
6th. Top 12 advance to the final round. 12 drivers will get knocked out of the final round. Here's Daniel Suarez. So, do you risk pedaling it just a bit to save something for the final round, or do you have to let it all go here?
I think you could do that in round 1, Mike, especially the way it unfolded. But I think in round 2, you've got to get everything you possibly can.
I think you feel like as a driver this one your tires are going to be their absolute best. I think the next round, you only got to beat 11 other guys, got a better chance.
Matt Kenseth 7th.
See Truex, he got down to the yellow line. It actually hooked a little bit loose, but still looked pretty good there. Keselowski on a nice lap.
Truex 5th.
No, sorry. Yeah, that was finishing his lap.
Keselowski 3rd.
Good run.
And here's Bain.
You know, we saw the 6 and the 17 at Daytona. They practiced well, had some fast practice speeds. Today, though, they backed that up a little bit better with some good qualifying speed.
It's right along here with Daniel Suarez. I already heard with Trevor Bain on the left how early he got out of the corner. Got out of the throttle and into the corner. Daniel really drove into the corner, maybe too deep.
No, he got down on the, I think he got down on the apron there, getting into 3.
That's going to cost him quite a bit of time.
Yeah, I think
so Suarez is 11th. Danica Patrick is on the bubble, 12th.
Watch this. I believe he gets that left side down on the apron just right there.
Yeah, you're right.
A little too much. Shooting and made him just had to chase the car, got loose.
You know, getting the car pointed and hooking that yellow line is so important. But if you don't time it just right, and you do what we saw with Daniel Suarez, you hook it a little bit too much, takes you on the apron, sends you up the racetrack.
Yep.
Earnhardt on the left, Allmendinger on the right of your screen.
It looks like Junior just got his hands full with this thing.
8th quickest, that bumps Danica.
Thought he'd run a little bit better, hey, bud.
Suarez now on the bubble. Ryan Blaney on the left. and now full screen. Allmendinger 12th, bumps Suarez.
88.
And Allmendinger's out. Blaney is 10th. Kenseth on the bubble. Here's Menard.
Whoa! Paul.
That late exit off 4. I mean, we've seen that for a long time here, but just watch Junior come off 4. You want to talk about working it.
Watch the hands.
Work it, work it, work it.
Oh, yeah.
Big handful.
There's Allmendinger behind him coming off of 4. Whoa, dirt tracking it.
There's a transition right there off the banking onto the flat just a little bit where the car has done that. A lot, always has done that a little bit here.
I just think that's a trend you're going to see a lot of this year and here this weekend. A lot of turning back to the right.
Matt Kenseth is 12th. He's on the bubble. So the comparison now is to Kenseth, not to Ryan Newman, who is quickest.
That car looks good. That's a solid. That's the least I think I've seen anybody fighting with the car off 4. McMurray here.
McMurray's in. He's 7th. Kenseth is out. Trevor Bayne on the bubble.
Logano putting a good lap together here.
It's a little bit loose off 4, but not bad. He didn't have to fight it much.
Logano is 7th. Bayne is out. Ryan Blaney's on the bubble.
Woohoo!
Here comes Eric Jones.
Oh!
Wow. Not enough. 18th for Jones.
De Benedetto just smacked the wall.
And he is 18th.
Watch this. He's coming off turn 4 here, and he just gets up the hill, and it just keeps going. He's pushing it loose and
just trying to use every inch of the racetrack and ran out
of turf.
He needed 2 inches.
Put that wall too close to the track.
Kyle Busch fastest in round 1. Has to beat a 29.70 to knock Ryan Blaney out of the top 12.
Sparking. We've seen a lot of cars
have any problem doing that.
Second for Kyle Busch. Blaney is out. Kurt Busch to the bubble.
See if they got Chase any better on this go round.
Boy, did you see that left side? Really soft on the left side. A lot of movement. Whoa, he jumped sideways in the middle of 3 and 4, but it looks like he stays in the gas. I don't think it cost him much time.
Got that splitter on the left front right down on the ground.
See if he can hook that yellow line.
Out of that pretty early.
He might get there. He did get there. Good job. Look at the time coming back. When you hook that yellow line late in the corner.
8th for Chase Elliott.
Yep.
And that moves Dale Jr. to the bubble.
That wasn't the prettiest run I've ever seen, but it's effective.
And it started off a little rough.
Boom! See this? All that. That's something bottoming out really hard.
Yeah, that's a splitter. That it's like
a dust.
Yeah, it's like not a carbon, but it's almost like a fiberglass material. So when it rubs at that kind of speed and hits, that's that dust.
A little more than a minute for drivers to start their lap. We'll see if anybody goes back out.
No, don't make it.
And Austin Dillon is 18th. Jimmy Johnson will be the last driver to make a lap in this.
Whoa, really loose.
Yeah, no kidding.
Kurt Busch saying how loose he was.
Kurt's the first driver to go back out for a second run.
And that was just coming to the green.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm seeing bumps and movement in the cars I haven't seen in years here.
Yeah.
Another slide by Jimmy Johnson on the 4.
Johnson 18th will not move up.
That was not a good run for the 48 car. He was loose, pushing, sliding.
Kurt Busch, Daniel Suarez on track. 15 seconds till time expires. Paul Menard may or may not make it. Kurt Busch is slower. Suarez is slower. Here comes Menard as the clock winds down.
Time expired.
I think he made it.
You think?
He did not.
27 is done. 27, you're done.
Get off and back it down, buddy. Save those tires.
Man, that's cutting it close. Boy, none of the other RCR cars have been able to find the speed that Ryan Newman has.
Here's how close it was for Paul Menard to start that lap. Time expires before he gets to the line to start his lap. And it will not count. So after 2 rounds, Kyle Busch fastest in round 1, second now. Ryan Newman, fastest in round 2. 12 cars to run for the pole next. Kyle Busch on the right of your screen was fastest in round 1, second in round 2. Ryan Newman, whose last pole was 117 races ago, fastest in the second round. Here's Chris Neville.
And Danica Patrick will start the race. 24th on Sunday. Danica, a lot of drivers talking about the sun down in turn 1. How bad was it?
Yeah, it was terrible. I couldn't see. Looking back, I would have even gone even earlier probably in that first round, because at least it allowed you to get into the corner with some visibility, but I thought it would have helped being later in the hour in the second round there, just having more shade. But it was such a harsh line that basically right where the sun line is, you can't see anything on the other side of it. So I got into one, and not only was I really loose on the run, but then I got in, and when you're running the top, you drive in flat and then you lift once you get into the corner. But when you're driving in flat to like Lord knows where, it's not very comforting. So I was too loose anyway. But you know, we got past the first round in the Aston General car, but we just didn't have it in the second one. And I think that, you know, remembering last year too, this was a similar scenario where we got to figure out how to make the car better so it's good in runs 1 and 2. I think that when the second run doesn't go so well, it kind of shows we got some issues. So we're going to need all the time tomorrow to figure it out.
Thanks, Danica.
Thanks, Chris. Kurt Busch will start 13th alongside Ryan Blaney. Bain and Kenseth, Menard and Jimmy Johnson. Dillon and Allmendinger, the top 20. Positions 13 through 24 are set. They will run for the Coors Light pole next. Where it's Aspen Dental qualifying day. Here are the cars that will run in the final round for the pole. Track is open.
Now, DW, do you want to go early, or you want to wait and see what kind of lap you need to?
I want to go run. I want to get my lap in the books, and I'll tell you, who you going to take? Who
am I going to take? I think Kyle Busch is after sweet revenge after not completing the pole last year, even though he had a car fast enough on track.
I think Ryan Newman's the quickest, but I want to see his and Buddy Baker's record stay intact. So I'll go with Kyle.
You're going to go with Kyle, then I'll go with Ryan.
Okay.
I didn't want to do you like I did you last week.
Matt.
Certainly was a handful for last year's winner, Jimmy Johnson. I don't think it could have been summed up any better by your spotter, Earl Barbin, at different times describing how free your car was.
Yeah, I mean, we've definitely been on the free side. But to be honest, this is a lot better than we qualified the last 2 years. And we won the race the last 2 years. This track's been kind of hard for me and difficult for the 48 in qualifying trim for a while now. Of course, we hoped that we'd fixed it. We got the slow shift everywhere we needed to. It just didn't happen, but we've got a practice session tomorrow and a race that I really love at a track that I really love. So when that checkered falls is what we're most worried about. Of course, we want to qualify well here. The stage points are important, but that's just not necessarily in the cards for us in this first stage, it looks like. And we'll go to work and try to make sure we got the car we need for the race.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Thank you.
Jeff, how many poles did you tell me Jimmy Johnson won here?
0. But he has more wins than anybody else in the field.
If I was him, I wouldn't be too worried.
I would not be worried. Matter of fact, if I'm the field, I'd be worried.
Larson 29.53 with a 3. Truex 29.53 with a 4.
All right, Newman, what do you got for us?
Hello, Newman. Come on.
Ryan Newman and Buddy Baker have each won 7 poles at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
There's just something when I look at Newman, though. I mean, does he not remind you of Buddy Baker? I mean, the way he builds, the way he races.
And they were very close.
Yeah, he was Baker's protege. Baker was his driver coach when Roger Penske hired Ryan Newman.
What was that book at Buddy Baker?
Really good, boy. Not only did he get a pretty decent 1 and 2, but 3 and 4 looked really good here as well.
Come on.
Quickest, 29.19.
Fastest lap yet.
Fastest lap of the day.
Look at Harvick right behind him.
Oh, he did it.
29.11.
Good job. Fastest you've been yet.
Harvick is so good through 3 and 4. He's one of the best I've ever seen at running that yellow line and hooking the bottom. And that's where it all came from.
Here's Dale Jr. I think the title of Buddy's book was Flat Out and Half Turned Over.
Half Turned Over, that was it, yeah.
Great, and it's a great book.
Brad Keselowski getting through turns 1 and 2 really well also.
Oh, baby. He was sawing on that thing.
Always bothered me when you had a car down the apron and you're trying to paint that line.
Dale Jr. on the right, Keselowski on the left. Earnhardt fifth.
Flirting with it. He really got through 1 and 2, but not getting through 3 and 4 as good as he needs to.
Boy, he is focused, though, and he's watching everything inside that car.
Third for Keselowski.
Now you can see on that shot from Brad Keselowski, he had a little visor there to block the sun going into turn 1, even though he had a clear shield. So, you know, we heard Danica Patrick talk about the sun. A lot of these teams are doing that, getting a lot of good use out of it.
Now Denny Hamlin on track. Jeff, I wonder, given the importance of tires and keeping them fresh, is everybody going to run?
That's a good. I think if you don't feel like you have a shot at getting maybe in the top 6, there's a good chance you might not go out right here and save your tires, have a better chance in the race. Because don't forget, you got to start the race on these tires. Now going into round 3, you're talking about 5 to 7 laps on these tires.
Yeah, but you know,
Hamlin is 6th. Stenhouse third. Great lap for Ricky Stenhouse.
I think you got to try.
Here's McMurray. And Jamie Mack is 5th.
The only one really that's not attempted to leave pit road is Kyle Larson. Oh no, he's already made his lap, so I think everybody's going to attempt to make a lap.
I think you get to this point, you got to try.
Chase Elliott. He's going to do a tailgate session on Sunday for folks that take advantage of the Chase U ticket package. $24. If you have a student ID, you get a tailgate party with Chase Elliott. You get to see a great race for just $24.
And his dad might even be there.
When Kyle Busch didn't quite get to that yellow line, is that going to cost him? It looks like it is.
It's going to be close.
9th for Elliott. 3rd for Kyle Busch.
Whoa. Nope. Stepped out on him.
Nope.
Time expires. And Joey Logano will finish his lap and come to the line 6th. Kevin Harvick has won his 18th career pole. And his 2nd at Atlanta. He won the pole here in 2014. That one was a Chevy. First time he's won a pole in a Ford. The field is set for Sunday's Folds of Honor Quiktrip 500. Kevin Harvick, 18th career pole, first in a Ford. And Ryan Newman, his 11th front row start at a track where he's earned 7 pole positions. Matt?
Mike, a great show of strength for Stewart-Haas Racing. This chassis won 2 poles last year with a bow tie on the front, blue oval this time, but you were a little concerned after your mock runs in qualifying.
Well, we spent a lot of time in race trim just not really knowing this package. Obviously, having all new Fords to have to learn how we needed the balance. So, you know, we ran a couple sets of tires in race trim and just kind of threw a qualifying package in there at the end of qualifying and were way too tight. So it's just a huge credit to everybody at Stewart-Haas Racing. Obviously, winning the Daytona 500 with the 41 last week and having all the cars run great. To come here and see the progress that we made through the weekend. And really, you know, for the last few weeks, we've been in the simulator, we've been in the shop. These guys have been in and out of the wind tunnel. They've cut bodies off. And it's hard to explain how big of a transition this has been for the whole company. So just have to thank everybody from Jimmy John's and Busch and Mobil One, Ford, Outback, Hunt Brothers, Morton Buildings, Textron Off-Road, everybody who helps put this race car on the racetrack. This is what it's all about. And to get our first pole with all the Ford folks is a step in the right direction, so we're excited.
6:45 a.m. you were at the simulator earlier this week. Jeff Gordon was just amazed at one part of your line. Where do you feel like is your money section at this racetrack?
Well, the first 2 laps, I really couldn't see what I was doing in 1 and 2. I felt like I was able to carry more speed the last run there and really do some things with the throttle that I didn't do the first 2 runs. And then at that point, I just didn't want to screw it up down there because I felt like I had got to the green, which I didn't do in the 2nd round. Got to the green good, got through 1 and 2 good, and just needed to hit the bottom and get that left front on the line so that it would hook and get up off the corner. So, you know, that was by far the best of the 3 laps, and we saved it perfectly for the end.
Congratulations. Thank you. Chris?
And Ryan Newman so close to that 8th pole. And Ryan, now that we've got Daytona behind us, when you've got speed here at Atlanta, how does that make you feel about the next couple months?
Well, it's big. I mean, just proud of everybody at RCR and ACR with this Caterpillar Chevrolet. So close. Really wanted to beat my old buddy Buddy Baker's record there. And been tied with him for a while, so that was kind of rough. But you know, just proud of the guys, proud of the effort. This is a big part. This is the litmus test for us for a lot of the rest of the season, and it was a good start for sure.
Well done. Thanks, Ryan.
Well, before they reconfigured this racetrack, it was thought of as a Ford racetrack. And the proof is 30 pole positions as of today for Ford here. NASCAR said once we leave Daytona, you're going to have a lot less rear spoiler on these cars. Here in qualifying is the result.
This might be worst case scenario. I mean, this track's worn out. These tires give up fast. This may be the worst case we see for a while.
Until we get to Fontana.
For a while.
Ooh. Wow, a lot of action for one qualifying session, Matt.
Hey, Mike, looking over the cars, you had an easy Friday afternoon drive compared to some of the cars you just witnessed.
At least I didn't hit anything, so that's a good start. Yeah, it was I guess I'm kind of eventful getting out there kind of late for qualifying with our Shell Penzo Ford, and then at least we constantly got faster, which is hard to do here at Atlanta. Even though the sun's going down, tire wear is so big that it's hard to keep going faster, and we were able to make some good adjustments to our car. Just could not get through 3 and 4. That was my problem. I get down there and cringe every time before we got to the corner, hoping that it would rotate through there. But that was kind of our struggle point, which is weird because I thought that was where we were good in practice. But overall, it's a decent starting spot. I think we were 26th here last year, so we've made up 20 spots. So a good start already.
So that's a great positive looking at it. And this place has so many options when you race here. And with this new low downforce package, do you like what you're seeing so far?
I think so. I mean, I think you just saw it there on some of the highlights there of cars slipping and sliding. Things aren't easy to drive. It's exciting for the driver. And, you know, I watched an Xfinity practice earlier, and you listen to every driver's interview saying how much fun it is to drive just here at Atlanta in general. It's just fun. But I think when you take downforce off these cars, on top of that, it's just going to be a heck of a race. So I can't wait.
Fun factor certainly high. Chris?
Yeah, and Kyle Busch doing triple duty this weekend. 2 races on tap tomorrow, and already back in the truck garage, checking on your team here. How'd you feel about qualifying there?
I felt pretty good about it. You know, our Snickers Crisper Camry was fast, just got a little too tight as the rounds kind of went on there. So unfortunately, we just weren't able to post a better time on that 3rd run. But each run was pretty consistent. The lap time stayed within pretty much a 1/10 of each other. You know, each 3 rounds. That's pretty good for this place, I think. But a couple of those guys actually picked up time. Harvick did, so that's kind of surprising for us. But all in all, you know, can't say enough about my guys. They gave me a fast piece, and we had a shot at it each round. Just you know, needed to get it done there on the 3rd one.
Yep. Well, Sunday we're going to finally get back to the formats, stage racing. Were you able to learn some things last Sunday in Daytona that you can use this Sunday?
Totally different racing. You know, you're not going to be able to learn much or take much away from what happened in Daytona to this week. I think it's going to be entirely different. You'll see what happens with tire strategy or pit strategy, how that kind of goes. And you know, there may be a caution, people may pit, and some may stay out and try to save their tires for the end of the race, where some might pit and blow our doors off and get a segment win. You know, so we'll see what happens. You obviously got to have tires for the end of these races, and I think truck and Xfinity is probably going to be even more so important with those stages and how that's going to play there than it will on Sunday. Sunday probably still has too many tires allotted for the race, but all in all, it's going to be fun. So Snickers cars fast, and let's keep it that way tomorrow and have a good one on Sunday.
Thanks, Kyle.
Kyle's 2nd round lap was his fastest of the 3, followed by his 3rd round, and the first was the slowest. Kevin Harvick does the hat dance after winning the pole for Sunday's Folds of Honor Quiktrip 500. And let me correct, Harvick's 3rd round lap was his fastest, as was Newman's. Kyle Busch's 1st round lap was his fastest lap, and he will line up 3rd opposite Ricky Stenhouse. Ford, Chevrolet, Toyota in the first 3 positions. Harvick, Newman, Busch.
Kyle may have gotten a little too much out of it that 1st round and didn't leave it for the final round.
39 drivers, including 5 who did not make it out onto the track, beginning with Jeffrey Earnhardt. So we've been talking through this entire session about you're going to have less spoiler and less downforce. Larry Mack.
Yeah, let's use our Ford cutaway car, and they went to the rear of the car to the rear spoiler, and they left it at 61 inches wide. They left it at 70 degrees, but last year that spoiler was 3.5 inches tall. They took 1 1/8 inches off the height. That spoiler now is only 2 3/8 of an inch. Now, you really can't just take downforce away from the rear. You have to go to the front and take front downforce away, and that balances the car out. So what they did on the front splitter, they left the center part the same, but you see right there, 5 inches left and right of the radiator pan. They reduced that by 3 inches to 2 inches. That takes front downforce away. Just parts bolted off, parts bolted on from 2 years ago. They've almost cut the overall downforce in half on these cars.
That's a lot of grip that's gone away.
Sure is. Matt?
Keselowski chasing his first win here in Atlanta. And will sun be a factor? We notice your cool carbon fiber sun shade, so to speak. That should be a big help on Sunday.
I don't know if I can take any more technical questions after watching Larry Mack try to explain the car. I'm lost, but you never know what's going to be a factor here at Atlanta. It's a fun track. I think this is one of my favorite tracks to come to because when you unload and you drive down in the corner, you feel like a race car driver here more than anywhere else. The cars are just out of control. They're slipping and sliding. And, I was telling somebody, this is one of the few tracks where it's an oval where everybody thinks you turn left. You turn right as much as you turn left. It's just an amazing, fun place. So I hope they don't repave it. I know they're thinking about it, but don't do it. But anyway, it's a great track, a lot of fun, and we like racing here at Atlanta. And I think we have a pretty fast Auto Trader Ford Fusion. We qualified, obviously, 5th. There's going to be something to fight through in the race. There's going to be sun and all those other things and the tire wear. But I've got a great team, and I think we can do it.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Mike?
Thanks, Matt. This planet is called the Evening Star. What is Venus? We'll be right back to Atlanta Motor Speedway. Do you get a plaque for winning the poll? No, you get a toothbrush to brush it away. Keelan's going to love that.
I think I'd think a good grill cleaner. Use that on Sunday.
29-11. Kevin Harvick hooking the bottom in 3 and 4. I've held off saying it the whole show. That's freaky fast.
Yes, it was.
It was also freaky perfect.
Xfinity qualifying tomorrow, all on FS1, followed by Camping World Truck Series qualifying. Then we'll have Cup Series final practice at noon, and you'll see a doubleheader of racing, the Xfinity race and the truck race tomorrow here on FS1. Coming up next, the UFC 209 weigh-in here on FS1.
Boy, guys, after seeing what we just saw in qualifying, I can't wait to see what we have in store on Sunday.